In this video, I'm going to be setting up, reviewing, and converting the Epson EcoTank 2760 printer into a sublimation printer using the Hiipoo sublimation ink, and we're going to get started right now. So welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial video. So glad to have you tuning in here once again with me, and I hope you do enjoy what we're going to be doing today. And let's jump right into today's video. So here we have the EcoTank Epson 2760 printer, and this printer was sent to us by someone who is now getting into the printing industry, and they have asked me to do a review on this printer for them. So we have here, as I mentioned, the EcoTank 2760 printer, and we're going to be setting it up. We're going to be doing a review on it. Also, I want to thank Hiipoo for sending me this sublimation ink that you're seeing here, and we are going to be doing a review on this ink also. I have some sublimation paper here that we're going to be using. So in all, we're going to be setting up this printer, we're going to be installing the ink, and we're going to be testing to see the quality of ink and how this printer works. We're going to be using these two coasters here and a keyring for testing the ink when we are finished setting up this printer. So let's jump into the video. If you're interested in purchasing this sublimation ink, if you're interested in purchasing this sublimation paper, or even this EcoTank 2760 printer, I'm going to leave all the links down in the description for you, and I'm also going to put some timestamps down in the description so you can jump around in the video to certain parts at your liking. So we're going to be starting off with the printer, and the first thing you would want to do is to remove all of the blue tape. So make sure you remove all of the blue tape. Get every single piece off of the printer and every single piece that is in the printer, because there may be some parts and pieces that may have it inside. So you want to make sure you check all compartments, lift the lid up, and you want to make sure you take off all of the blue tape. So this is the first thing that we're going to do. Remove all of the blue tape. I'm going to take a look at the side so you can see there's no blue tape at the side. We're going to look at the back, and there's some tape here. Here. We're going to take a look under, and we have completed our first step. So we're going to now install the sublimation ink. Now the printer came with its standard ink, but we are not going to be using the standard ink. We're going to be using the sublimation ink. However, we're going to be using these bottles so that we can have an easier access to pouring and filling in our ink in this printer. So we're going to be using the sublimation ink, and as I mentioned before, I'll have the links down in the description for you if you're interested in purchasing this brand ink here. But we're going to be using these bottles. So what I'm going to do is I have 4 plastic cups here. I'm just going to rest this printer aside here, but I have 4 plastic cups. And what I'm going to do is to actually open up these inks. I'm going to pour the inks in these cups. We're going to wash out these bottles here, and then we're going to fill these bottles with the sublimation inks and then top up our printer with it. Now that our bottles are empty, I'm going to wash out these bottles as clean as possible allow them to dry so all of the water will go out of them. And then what we're going to do is to fill these bottles with this ink, and then we're going to take these inks and pour them into these bottles. So once you have already poured out your inks and washed out your bottles, cleaned out your bottles, then they are ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is, remember, these are the standard inks that we poured in here. We're going to take the Sublimation inks now, and we're going to top up these bottles. So we can move these different cups aside because we are finished with these for now. And we are going to pour these inks here into these bottles when we are finished. So we're going to start off with the blue. So we're going to take the blue here. We're going to take the blue and we're going to pour it into this bottle. And you may want to have like a tissue or so because it could get pretty messy. Tissue or cloth. Alright, so this one actually filled it right to the top. So we have that one completed. Then I'm going to take the cover and I'm going to cover it back down. And you have to make sure that you lock it and seal it. And this one is ready to be installed in our printer. So I'm going to do the same process for all, and then afterwards I'm going to take these inks, which are the standard inks, and I'm going to pour them in these bottles. You can go ahead and wash out these bottles and then afterwards pour it in if you want to, but I'll just pour this one in there when I'm finished doing these bottles. So our next step is to install the ink. Now what you want to note is that you can see clearly from the outside the levels of your ink. So we're going to open up the lid, and we're going to open up the side here, this little smaller lid, and you can clearly see they have the different color codings right here for you. So there's no way that you can be mistaken. You're going to pop open the lever one by one. And something I want you to really take note of is to look at the groove down in there. I want you to make sure to look at this little groove here. I don't even know what shape to call that, but look at this groove here. And then I want you to take a closer look at the groove at the top of this bottle. So you can see there is a resemblance. You have a circle in the middle, and then you have two pieces at the end. And the same thing follows for in there. So when you are installing your ink, you don't want to turn your bottle on the side and try to install it because it will not work. You want to make sure that it fits directly in the groove as it's supposed to. So I'm going to take the bottle and I'm going to turn it over and make sure it fits in the groove and allow the ink to fill up the tank. And as you can see clearly here, it is slowly filling up that tank. When this process is over, we will do the same thing for each and every single color until we are finished. After you have successfully topped up your printer with the ink, you need to pull back down your lid and you need to plug in your printer. So you have the power card here. Once your printer is plugged in, you want to pull the lid up because this lid can actually move. You can push it in and you can pull it out. Now the screen is pretty small, so we're going to zoom in so you can actually see what is going on here. But now we're going to turn on the printer. So we're here by the LCD screen, and once you turn on your machine, the EcoTank Epson 2760, it gives you different options to choose the language. So we're going to use English, and what we're going to press next is OK, and it's going to allow us to know that it's going to start preparing. So we're here on the screen now, and we can see the message saying see the start here sheet to complete initialization. Now from here, our next step is to press OK. Once you press OK, it will give you instructions to fill the tanks with ink and hold down on the question mark button for more than 3 seconds. Now we would have already filled our tanks before, so we're going to go ahead and press the question mark button, which is right here, for 3 or more seconds. Alright, so then it gives us some more information. Start initialization, confirm that tanks are filled with ink, and we know already that our tanks are filled with ink, so we're going to proceed forward to the next icon, and the icon that we will actually be using is this icon right here. It's pretty small on the screen, so you may not be able to see it, but we're going to click on that. Now our printer is going to start its process, and as it's saying here, it can take up to about 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, we're going to come back. When this is finished, we're going to come back and we're going to continue. Now that our inks are finished charging, initialization has been completed, and we're going to press OK. Alright, so now we're to the stage where you're going to align the printer to get the best printing quality. So you can adjust this later if you want, but we are going to adjust this right now. So you're going to click on OK and print a print head nozzle check to check print quality. So we're going to have to actually load some paper into our printer, and I have some A4 paper here that I am going to use. Alright, so this is our first ink to check our nozzle checks, and as you can see clearly, we have a clean print out here. The next step will be to do a clean print head. So we're going to clean the head. Make sure to go through all of these steps before you get started with your printing. Our next step now will be to make sure to adjust the alignment. So the printer is giving you the option, and you can see there, to align print position to fix misalignments and banding. So you're going to make sure that you do this, follow all of the steps right away through to the end. You don't want any mishaps later on when you're using your printer. So I'm going to adjust. My paper is in already, and I'm going to click on print. Alright, so our printout is completed, and on the screen here is asking us to look at the printout and choose boxes with the least lines. On the next screen, select the number. Alright, so let's go to the next screen first, and we can see there's an icon here. Hopefully you can see. I can adjust the camera. There's an icon here to the left hand side with some lines, and then there's one with a circle around it, which I believe is a solid square, and then you have the numbers at the side. So let's take a look at our printout to determine the least lines in the squares. So we're going to start from 1, and if we take a closer look here, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly within the camera, but we know that 5 have some lines in it, 4 have some lines, 3 has just a little bit of lines. I can see number 1 has the lines and number 2 seems to be the one that is correct. So I'm going to choose 2 in this regard. So I'm going to go here to the printer and I'm going to select the option 2 and press on OK. Now I'm going to come back to number 2 and I'm going to do the same process as number 1. So we're going to do this one. Number 1 has lines, number 2 has lines, number 3 has lines. You can see that. Number 4 has lines, number 5 has lines, number 6 looks pretty solid to me, and number 7 has lines. So we're going to go with number 6. And I would always advise to make sure you are in a well lighted area so that you would see exactly what is going on. All right, so we have number 3, and number 3 we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 has some lines in them. We come across here, number 5 looks pretty solid, number 6 looks solid, and number 7 seems to have just a couple lines. Let's take a closer look here again at 5 and 6. Both of these look solid to me. Now we are going to go over to line number 4, and the procedure is the same thing all the way down to 7. So I'm going to continue this and then we are going to move forward to the next set. All right, so now we have our second section here, and it says choose rectangles that are not separated or overlap. So choose rectangles that are not separated or overlap. So we're going to look for those rectangles that are not separated and not overlap. So let's look at this one. Number 1, clearly it looks to me like this is overlap. I can see a line in here. Okay, number 2, I can see a line. So I'm assuming that this is overlapped. Number 3 hasn't a line. Number 4 hasn't a line. Number 5 hasn't a line. Number 6 looks clean to me. It looks clean to me. Number 7 looks also clean to me. So in this case, I'm going to go with number 6 or number 7 because these two, I can see clearly that these do not look overlap to me. So let's look again. Number 1, number 2, number 3 has the line, number 4 has the line, and it may look faded, but you can actually see it. Number 5 has that line. Number 6, now that I'm looking at 6, I can see a little line. So we're going to go with 7. Now our printer is set up. However, we're going to jump into the computer and we're going to make sure that we set up and install the program onto the computer so we can actually print from this. But I'm believing that you can go into settings on your printer and you should be able to connect your Wi-Fi to set up your Wi-Fi. That's so you'll be able to use it via the wireless option. So before you go any further in terms of printing, you want to go ahead and install the software. Now you just have to head over to www.epson.com/support/et and then you will put in your printer number. So for example, this printer is the 2760. So I put in www.epson.com/support/et2760. Now it's going to recommend for you what you can actually use in terms of the drivers and utilities. So it's going to give you a package. However, you have the option to download what you want to use. So if you only want to use the drivers, you can download the drivers alone. If you only want to use scanners, remote, drivers and utilities combination, you can do that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and download what they recommend for me, which is drivers and utilities combo package installer. Once you do that, you can see it's here downloading on the left hand side at the bottom. It's completed, and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to start the process of going through to actually install it on the computer so that I can be able to start printing. So we have it here and I'm going to open it up right now, and it's going to take you through some different prompts before you actually are able to actually install it onto the computer. So it gives you Epson drivers and utilities. You can select, and Epson user guide link. So I'm going to install that, and it's going to take you through the downloading process of the software. Once the installation has been completed, you're going to move on to clicking start to begin the print setup. Now you want to confirm that your inks were charged, and the inks were charged from before we did that. So you're going to click on the connection which you want to set up your computer with. Now we would have already utilized the wireless connection, so we're going to stick with this one. Afterwards, you're going to select your setup option, and in this case we would have set up the printer with our wireless network. So I'm going to use this option, and I'm going to click on continue. As you can see here, it says the printer was found. Click continue to proceed. Once that has been done, we're going to start network setup. And once it is set up, all you need to do is to click on close. So we're currently here in the Silhouette Studio program, and I have all 3 of my designs that I will be using to test this printer and to also test this ink to see what kind of quality we will be getting from it. So I have my images here already, as you can see, and we're going to go over to file and print, and we're going to be selecting the Epson EcoTank 2760. Okay, it's already selected here for us already. And then I'm going to go down to my print settings. I'm going to be using, for my media type, I'm going to be using premium presentation paper matte. The quality is going to be set, print quality is going to be set to the highest, which is quality. As you can see there, well, we actually have high quality, so we're going to use high quality. And I am going to mirror my image. Once you're doing sublimation, always remember to mirror your image. So if you did not mirror your image within the Silhouette Studio program, when you get to this option, make sure to mirror your image. And next, I'm going to press on print, and then we're going to allow the printer to do its work. Now that we're here over by the heat press, I'm going to be using 400 Fahrenheit at 60 seconds with a medium pressure. 400 Fahrenheit at 60 seconds with a medium pressure. So we're here now, and we're taking a closer look at these colors. Remember, we used that sublimation ink, and we are going to do a review on it. So let's talk about it. First, let's talk about the ink. I think the ink isn't so bad, but I believe that I can still get some more quality out of it, that it should be a little brighter, but it can pass, it can work. Some may disagree with me. You can let me know down in the comment section what you think about the ink itself. You know, and if you're interested in purchasing and buying some of it, I'm going to leave the link down in the description for you. So take a look at this coaster here, these colors here. Tell me, what do you think about it? I mean, these coasters are like rubber, these are flexible, these aren't the hard ones. Then we have here the keyring. As you can see, the colors still came out pretty okay. This is the actual color here, light pink. But let me know down in the comment section what you think. Let me know what you think about the process of converting the printer. I think that this printer is going to do a great and fantastic job. So far, it have print awesome, it have been printing good, and I think that this is going to do a fantastic job within the sublimation industry once you have sublimation products and you want to print with them. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Please leave some comments down below and let me know what you think about these colors here. If you like them, if you think they could have been brighter. I want to thank you for watching once again, and remember to like, share, and subscribe for more videos, for more tutorials. If you have any questions at all, leave it down below. And remember, we make your prints and fashions come alive.